Hello, good morning and Happy New Year everyone. It's Miriam from Pain Outside the Box, and to start off the year I thought about a topic that is on a lot of people's minds related to TMS, tension myositis syndrome. And I thought I'd start off by answering a very common question, which is, if the TMS method works so well for people, why wouldn't more people know about it? Why wouldn't it be more mainstream? Okay, and there are various reasons for this, but I've pinned them down to basically two reasons. So the first reason is education. Okay, so basically we are not educated about the impact of the mind-body connection in relation to our physical health. So although we know that, for example, stress is not good for our health, we are not educated as to the extent to which stress and other negative emotions impact us on a physical level. It's only recently that more research and trials are being carried out. It's only recently that they are finding changes to the brain in relation to chronic stress, that they are finding that, for example, certain brain regions associated with pain are overactivated in people with chronic pain. But before this kind of research, it was kind of only speculation. We knew that, doctors have always known, okay, that stress and grief and strong negative emotions cause certain ailments, but they weren't able to properly scientifically explain it. And as we grew up in the biomedical model, okay, of medicine, wherein our doctors based their assumptions solely on the physical. So as kids, for example, we don't normally suffer from mind-body syndrome. So what would happen is, as kids, we would either break a leg or an arm, or we would catch a cold or a virus, and we would go to the doctor and we would get treatment for that. And so that's treating the symptoms from a physical level, because we were likely suffering from acute symptoms, and that's how these are treated. So we grow up believing that kind of all symptoms are acute somehow. So when it comes to chronic pain, when we start getting pain continuously and we don't know why it's happening, we still assume that there's something solely physical and structural and acute going on. So we expect to get the same kind of approach, okay? And even the doctors themselves, they first base their assumptions on the fact that there is something structural to be treated, to be cured. So that's the biomedical model. They never ask us what else is going on in our lives when we complain about chronic pain. They just examine our physical bodies, try to find something wrong. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Okay? When they do, we are quick to latch on to that diagnosis as the reason for our pain. And even though it doesn't work, and when we treat that cause, or that what we believe is the cause, we still keep believing that that's the cause. We're incurable, there's nothing else we can do. And because of the lack of education, any kind of suggestion for some people that the mind-body connection might be at play, that emotions may be at play, they find it also insulting, because people think you're calling them crazy. Whereas this is a natural process, and if we were really properly educated about it, we would know that this is normal, that it's normal to sometimes experience physical symptoms due to emotional pain. So that's one of the reasons. So it's got to do with education and how ready we are to accept this fact that's emerging and becoming obvious all around us. But the second reason, and which is even more important and which is, I believe, more of a drawback, is actually the investment. Now, by investment, I mostly mean investment in time and energy. When it comes to money, not everyone needs to invest money, or at any rate not a lot of money, when it comes to treating symptoms as TMS. But when it comes to time and energy, yes, there's an investment to be made. And again, we're not used to making investments for our mental well-being, right? So we're used to take any kind of supplement or pill that will help us function in our everyday life, so that we can ignore any kind of physical discomfort and just keep going. So when you tell people that there's some kind of work involved in order to recover from chronic pain, some people shy away from that. Some people give up, or they don't want to accept that, right? So it's all about taking responsibility when it comes to investment in time and energy. So you need time in order to actually process what's going on, in order to actually learn and update yourself on the knowledge that you've missed out on, that you haven't been educated about, okay? So you need time to learn. You need time to commit yourself to practice what you learn and to see how it applies to your own individual situation, okay? So that takes a lot of time and reflection. Okay, you need to challenge yourself sometimes, so there's also this investment in energy, this investment in being super aware of what's going on and identifying those habits, those behaviors that are not serving you, that are keeping the pain alive, and actually taking the steps to change them when you feel uncomfortable doing so, okay? Because the brain shies away from anything that feels unfamiliar. If you've been cushioning your pain for years, it will feel counterintuitive to actually challenge your pain, to actually perhaps be a little bit more active, to actually challenge your triggers. It does require a lot of energy and mental determination. So when someone who has been in pain for a long time and has not experienced any kind of relief, if you tell him that there's this solution, first of all, it's unlikely for him or her to fully believe that he can totally recover. But second of all, when you tell him there's some work involved, that you have to dedicate some time, especially in the beginning, before the new knowledge and the new habits become part of your everyday new reality, that can be very discouraging, right? Because we're not used to investing time and energy in our health, or not so much, okay? Especially when we don't know exactly how, when we don't know exactly for sure that we are going to recover through this method, even though people who actually do dedicate themselves to the method, they practically all experience significant improvement if they really do have TMS, right? So yes, it's hard to change a culture, it's hard to change mindset, okay? And when it comes to investment, it's hard to take responsibility. It's hard to admit that you might have been responsible for creating your own symptoms, kind of, for perpetuating them, for keeping them alive through your fears, through your modes of thinking. It is tough. Only a few brave people are ready to embark on such a journey. But those who do find it obviously very fulfilling, okay? So this is just, one of the things to keep in mind for this new year. If you're new to the concept of TMS and neuroplastic pain, if you've just joined my group, if you're just browsing the internet for information, it's to keep in mind that investment of your time and energy is paramount, okay? You can't just read about it once and say like, okay, it doesn't make sense, or it does, but I'm not going into that, it's too much work. It's not gonna work. You have to invest your time and energy in it. Maybe some money as well. Not a lot of money. It could be just investing in a couple of TMS books. It could be investing in a one-time coaching session if you really need that extra help. It could be investing in a program, but looking at the options out there when it comes to TMS, there's plenty. First of all, there's plenty of free information and free help, and I think there's also plenty of reasonably priced services as well. Okay, so yeah, just something for you to think about if you're considering taking this commitment. It does work, and the only reason why it's not all out there, the only reason why it's not mainstream is because of lack of education and the lack of willingness to invest and take responsibility in one's own health. We are not used to taking that approach, okay? It might change in the future, but I can assure you that whoever has embarked on this journey and had TMS, okay, chronic pain, has found it incredibly fulfilling. Sometimes it takes months, sometimes it takes a year or two even to actually, realize exactly what was going on, what was going wrong. Sometimes it takes days, okay? I got people going through my website, reading through the resources on my website, writing to me without even having paid for a service and telling me that they're completely fine now. So you never know. I mean, just invest that time and energy where you feel you need to. If there's something that sparks your interest, if there's something that resonates with you, look into it further, okay? Because it can mean the difference between a pain-free life and a painful life. All right, take care and see you next time. Bye-bye.